Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Nishmas Rospas Mordechai. Hayoim Shishu Shleishim Yom Sheim Chamisha Shavuos v'Yom Echad Ba'omer LaOmer Nishmas Yael Bas Sarah, 12-year-old girl Bas Yibadel Chaim Reb David. Yishai Kurt sent us in. He says, I'm a younger of the Shir, keeping up with the daf while in Gaza. Keep on dafing. So I received this, that according to, in the stark.org, it says that Rav Heinemann asked Rav Moshe whether a person is allowed to have a non-Jewish vet spay a Jewish female animal. And Rav Moshe paskin that a Jew should not instruct the vet to spay his animal. However, Rav Moshe said that the Jew could tell the vet that he personally is halachically forbidden to spay his animal, would therefore like to transfer ownership of the animal and sell to the boy side. Female animal. Female. After the vet spays the animal, the Jew may then buy it back. This is halachically permitted because of a sfek sveika. 2 areas of doubt. First, it is questionable, as you saw yesterday, as to whether a non-Jew is commanded to avoid sirus. Second, it's questionable as to whether the prohibition of sirus applies to a female animal. But that only works on a female animal, but not on a male animal. Selling, according to Rav Moshe, does not work on a male animal.
There's a vet in Bava Metzia,
Yeah.
Arab.
Yeah.
You go and give him 20 shekels.
I know.
He pays you.
Yeah.
And you give the cat. No.
I get it, but that doesn't work. On females. Okay, yeah. Hi, Rebelli. I love learning daf every day, watching you on my 65-inch screen with moving pictures. Everything created can be used for Kedusha, right? When I had to spay my puppy, my prominent Rav told me that if I sold my dog to a goy, and then that goy commands the surgeon to perform the surgery, that is permitted based off the Chazon Ish's ruling. As a surgeon, I bought the dog back from the goy. Hope this helps. Keep on steiging. Again, this is spaying, not neutering. Avi from Brooklyn. And finally, because we started a little late, so we got to jump into this. Every day, driving my 10-year-old son to yeshiva, he listens to you in the car on Torah anytime and prods his father to do the daf. Shkoyach for the assistant starting of Ram Shalom Chaim's day in the right direction. YM from Muncie, Be'ez Hashem, you too will be part of the daf. And it's beautiful that in the car, instead of having sports and shtusim, there's a little daf going on in the background. The Masechta is sponsored by Anonymous for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Parnas HaChodesh, Nishmas Zechariah ben Moshe, Nishmas Zechariah Bas Yosef. Parnas HaShavua, may this daf be in merit of the refuah shelayma for Lana Devorah, Hadassah Leah of Baltimore, a mother who was in critical condition after having her 5th child. What do you have over there? Refuah of Yael Bas Sarah, kidney transplant. 15 years old. She should have a refuah shelayma. The second parnas hayoim, the zchut refuah shelayma for Mordechai Leib ben Rachel, a tremendous friend of MDY. He should have a refuah shelayma and a lot of nachas from his children. Parnas hayoim, Avrohom Farkovits, Eli Nishmas, my grandfather, Reb Dov ben Reb Yisroel, Reb Dov Farkovits. Parnas hayoim, Mordechai Leib ben Rachel for zchut, for refuah shelayma. Parnas hayoim, Pinchas Birn, otherwise known as Phil Birn, one of the tzaddikim that changed his name after I spoke about having a Jewish name. I'm not joking. People take it seriously. I tried to change Mark Ashkenazi's name. That didn't work very well. He did not appreciate it. Lezecher Nishmat, Mordechai ben Natan, Yechiel, zechut Avrohom, my grandfather, Walter Birn. No, how do you say Walter in Hebrew? Walter Birn should have an aliyah's neshama. Ari Buckman, Lezecher Nishmas, Yakove ben Moshe, Rabbi Isai. 2 questions. For Shavuos, are we allowed to make rolls for the Suda made out of milk? We have milk. Oh. Dailam knows. If you make a simon, it's very confusing. I can't go from left to right. Now I'm confused. Shamshi, right? Oh, the whole thing is backwards. He doesn't know the rules. Pasha doesn't know the rules. He walked a half an hour. Wow. Since you're 20 years old. But you haven't learned the daf like that since you were 20 years old, huh? Where's your seat? Listen, you're giving us chizuk every day. You give me chizuk yishkar for coming.
If you make a small amount, there's also.
Okay. Now, here's a question that if anybody knows the answer, I'm willing to give them $500 on the spot, on condition you never learned this before. Close. Let's see.
You get 250.
A person who's hired as an employee to crush the grapes with his feet. At what point could he eat the grapes or drink the wine or both? Or another thing? What's machlekes? No. $500 for those who don't know, who didn't learn it, just by guessing. Again, I'm crushing the grapes with my feet. Could I eat the grapes? Could I drink the grape juice? Could I do both? Could I do neither of them? What is the halacha? There's no way you'll know. And Be'ezer Hashem, I will actually do a show and tell and show you how it's done. That's where it's taking place. You're going to space out and talk to somebody else during my share. You're not going to see what I did. So what did you just see? And what did you just see? You have no idea. Okay, fine. I just took my foot out with a bag on it, and you're talking to me, you didn't see it? I'll do it again here. Be'ezer Hashem, Be'ezer Hashem. I'll show you. I'm going to show you soon. I have to wear this bag the entire shit. That's the reason I showed you. Because I don't want to waste your time afterwards. Okay, Rabbi say, here we go. We're holding by Tanu Rabban on 7 lines from the bottom. Here's another good question. Which Isser in the Torah are you chayiv even before you did the Isser? Just think about doing the Isser, preparing for the Isser. Which Isser in the Torah are you chayiv before you do the Isser? You don't even have to do the Isser to be over the Isser. We learned it in Nezu Neshech. What else the halachas did we learn in Nezu Neshech? Where's Eli Melech Goldberg? Where is he when we need him? Ribis! Ribis, Rabboisa. You don't even have to give the low, and you just write in the document. There's another thing we learned in Nezu Neshech. Those who learned with us Nezu Neshech, those who were with us should know. A lot of you were spacing out because it was over Pesach, and I wasn't here. Making weights that are the wrong measurement. You're over even if you don't weigh and you don't work in a fruit store. You're over just by making those weights.
You did something.
But you didn't do the Isser, I said. You didn't do the Isser. I didn't say you didn't do a Maisa. You did it. Again, what are they? What are the two things that I just said? No say. But you didn't do an Isser in the weights. So what? No, so what? And prepare. And if you prepare a chazer, and you shech the chazer, you over? Why not?
Because you didn't do anything.
Oh, and if I make a weight and I didn't weigh it, okay. Those are two things. If you put a muzzle on a cow, you're not over until what? Until you actually do the threshing. The disha b'hamizavik b'klayim. If you take a donkey and a cow and you put them together, potter. V'neloika elo dosh umanik b'vad. You only chayev once you make those two plow the field, and in our case, when you thresh, when you do the disha, then you're chayev. Says the Gemara Itmar. There's one other thing that Taisus brought down there, tchelas. If you do fake tchelas, you might be over even before. I think that's what it said over there. Before you even put it on.
On what? What are you on?
On doing fake tchelas.
What's that?
That was the whole sugya that Kal Ilan, the sugya of Kal Ilan. Because Baruch Hu will punish a person that does Kal Ilan, that sells Kal Ilan. Because he's faking people, he's doing fake tchelas.
It's a lie, that's the Yavera?
Yeah. Okay, listen, you want me to go over Ezu Nashach again? We can do that after this year. Itmar, chasama bekol v'henigo bekol. If you have an animal who's threshing, and the animal bends down to eat some food, and you give a scream, hey, stop, and the animal gets scared, is that considered muzzling an animal? What's the question? The question is, because you didn't use a physical thing, you used your voice. Voice, usually you don't get malchus for something to do with your mouth. V'henigo b'kol, you have two animals, a cow and a donkey, and you go, whatever the lashon is, giddy up, I don't know what the lashon, and they start moving. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Chayev, just for doing it with your mouth, you're Chayev, Malkus. Rish Lakish Amar Potter, you're Potter for Malkus. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Chayev, Akimas Piv, Hava Maisa. By doing a Maisa with your mouth, that's enough. The big question is that Rabbi Yochanan admits that your mouth usually is not considered a Maisa. There's a few exceptions, like cursing Hashem. There's a few exceptions that you're Chayev, but usually not. So Taisus says, and this is for Pshat in the Sugya, that over here it's different. Because over here, when you say Lashon Hara, do you get Malchus for saying Lashon Hara? But you use the mouth. You went like this. And Rabbi Yochanan just said that using your mouth is a Maisa. Says Taisus, a tremendous nafkamina. Lashon Hara doesn't cause action. You said something bad, it made your friend feel bad, he's embarrassed, etc. Over here, you're using your mouth and an animal starts walking. So there was action through your mouth. It started with your mouth and it ended up with action. That type of action, says Taisvis, you're chayev malchus. That type of dibur. It's not considered action. Eisvei Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish asks, Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish, top of Tzadik Aleph Amud Aleph. So it goes like this. If you look in Rashi, the first Mishnah in Tmura, it says, you know what? Let's just show the. First of all, let me show you this, so that we're finally in the sugya of chasima. This is what it looks like to do disha with an animal. They are threshing the wheat. They're stepping on it and separating the kernel from the shaft, and that's without a muzzle. And here it is with a muzzle. This is a deraisa to put the muzzle on and you see he's prodding them with the stick. So that's hanaga. And we're talking about doing it without the stick, just screaming and talking to them and having them do it without that. There's actually even that's the stick. Okay. So let's continue on to this. We could take off the volume for this because I can't. I really can't. Let me just hear what he has to say. Maybe if he sounds weird, turn off. Good, no sound. Excellent. It's better than the sound. When a person looks at an animal, he says, this animal is going to be an oila. So he made an oila. Did he take any action? No. It happened with his mouth. Harei zeh karban. A second later, a much nicer animal walks into the barn. A nice, tall, white, shmaka animal. He has charata. It's even bigger. He says, I want to give the better one he takes the chulin and he makes that one hegdish. 2. So he's saying, instead of 1, I want to bring 2. So that is the Issa Derais of Tmura. They both become Kadosh, and he gets Malchus for that. Ask the Gemara, this week's Sedra. I did the whole thing. I guess I wasn't paying attention. Fine. Yeah. Even though one is better than the other, certainly if one is worse than the other, even if 2 is better than 1, it's still awesome. The question is, he did it with his mouth. He spoke. How's that? How could he get Malchus on that? So, right here, good question. He didn't take. What's the action over there? So let's see if we could figure that out. Says Rashi. Everybody could do this. Even a female, even a woman could say this should be instead of this, and she's over. But from the lashon mamirim, hakol mamirim seems like it's a good thing to do. Hakol mamirim, everybody could do it. So on that, the top, these are the first, what? I said that. What?
Something happened, yeah.
Yeah, but that's not, he's saying more of a Maisa. I hear. Okay. Says the Gemara, we are 90 daf into Bava Metzia. Ella. It's not mutter. If he did it, it works. It's mumar. It's a tmura. Besovik Avrohom gets 40 malchus, even though the action happened with his mouth. Omar lei, Omani Rabbi Yehuda, the Omar lav shein boi ma'isa loikin olav. According to Rabbi Yehuda, there's a lav shein boi ma'isa. Maybe Tosis is going according to Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yehuda. I don't know. Rabbi Yehuda, or like Noam said, that there's enough community between something took place in the animal through his dibur and not. The Omar lav she'ein boi ma'isa loikin olav. Okay. Umi asked the Gemara, Umi matzas mukim to Rabbi Yehuda. It happens to be that Rish Lakish does hold Rabbi Yehuda, but the Gemara says, but at the end of the day, something doesn't fit here because we can't say it goes like Rabbi Yehuda of Ktani Reisha, Hakol Mamir Mechad Hanoshim Vechad Hanoshim. In that mission it says Hakol Mamir, everybody could, like we saw in Rashi, even a woman could do Tmura. What else is there besides a woman and a man? Lasuyi Yoirish, that if a person dies, not a chatos, because if a person brings a chatos, that chatos must die, but another type of carbon like an oila, a person dies, his son sees the oila, he says, you know what, Lezecher Nishmas, his father, he doesn't want to bring such a shvach animal. Let me do tmura, let me bring another nicer animal from my father. Lezecher Nishmas is the father. Would like Rabbi Yehuda, that a Yeirish cannot do tmura. Like Rabbi Yehuda, dik Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Yeirish, Eini Meimer, Yeirish, Eini Soimach. Right, you could. Sorry, lasuya means you could. Not only a man, a woman, but even a Yerush could. Rabbi Yehuda says a Yerush can't. So how can you say that we're going like Rabbi Yehuda? It says when it comes to lav shein b'maisa, Shlokish holds like Rabbi Yehuda, lav shein b'maisa, you get malchus. What? Not Rish Lakish. Tana, yeah, Tana Savalak of Asay B'chada, Upalak B'chada, and he argues with him on the Yerush thing. Okay, Torah Hachayzim is a part of a Dosh Ba Loika. What happened there? First he borrows an animal from his friend, he does chasima, he puts a muzzle on the animal doesn't eat. So first of all, he gets malchus, he's over to the right, he gets malchus. But in addition to that, like we said yesterday, I think it was, that if you know that somebody's going to borrow your animal to do threshing, to do disha, so what do? You're permitted not to give your animal food the whole day. Let him eat on the other guy's account. This guy realizes that he sees the animal's dying to eat. He says, you know what? Let me get back at the owner. I'm not going to give him anything to eat. Let me put a muzzle on. So now he owes the owner the amount of food that this cow is about to eat. Not only does he get malchus, he also has to pay. What is that called? Typically we have, let's say if somebody kills somebody and he rips his shirt while he kills him. So he gets misa, he doesn't have to pay for the shirt. Over here, he's getting a punishment of malchus, plus he has to pay. Does that work like that? A cow, I guess, eats more than a donkey. 4 kav for that's how much he has to pay. 4 kav for a cow, 3 kav for a chamor. As the Gemara of Amaz, you don't get malchus and die. You don't get malchus and pay. It's kamle b'derabinei. Here we have in the pasuk. Rishasoi. You know what? Let me just jump backward just for a second, just to show how Rabbi Yehuda learns. Okay, forget it. We're in another sugi already. We'll go look in Rashi and you'll see. So Rishasoi is singular. You only pay for one. You only get one einish, one punishment, not 2. Rishasoi 1, not 2. Also known as you only get the worst of the 2. We have a number of answers to the stuff. No, it goes according to the man, the Omar, that you get malchus and pay. You can do both. You give him both. Rav Omar. Rav says, Esnan osra Torah vafilu ba alimoy. Goes like this. The Torah says that if a Zayna receives payment for the znus in form of a sheep or a cow, you cannot bring that sheep on the mizbeach. It's a esnan Zayna. What happens, the worst of the worst, a son is boil his mother. He's on with the mother and she made up with him a price. Okay, the worst of the worst. So let's take it one step at a time. Since it's his mother, he gets misa. Misa, if he gets misa, he should not have to pay. It's 4 steps, I wrote it down here. If it's misa, he should not have to pay her at all the sheep. Why? Kimle b'derabin. He's paying with his life. He doesn't have to pay a sheep. What if he does give her the sheep? Then it's a gift. It's not because I owe her, it's because it's a gift. So if it's a gift, she should be able to put it on the mizbeach. But she cannot put it on the mizbeach. Why can't she? The answer is because it's not a gift. The answer is, yes, kimle b'derabin, but it doesn't absolve you from the payment. You still have a chiyuv to pay her. If you want to be yotzei dei shamayim, you have to pay. If you're going to pay with a sheep, it's not a gift, it's a payment. So Mela Bayos also, since he did chasima, he gets malchus. But it doesn't absolve him of the 4 kav, the $22 that he owes for the food. He owes it to him. Bezdin cannot extract it from him, but he has to pay for it. To the point that the owner of the cow could go into the guy's house and grab the 4 kav from him. Bezdin is not going to help you out, but you can help yourself to it. So let's see, just we'll do chazara. It's a little bit of, what? Yeah, according to Rava, yes. There is. You're not. The Bezdin doesn't have to. No, Kimle. No. Klabi Shemaim. There's no Kimle. Correct. According to Rava. Let's see again, just step by step, because it's 4 steps. I just want to repeat it. That's right. Kimle is a tremendous chiddush. Why should somebody suffer? You burn his gadish on Shabbos. Listen, I have a gadish. I have nothing to do with you. You go light my hay on fire on Shabbos. So they're going to take you to Bezdin and do skila. Not you, him. Why do I have to suffer $100 loss because they're taking you to Bezdin? You just burn. What connection do I have? That's a chiddush. So you say, no, you owe me the $100. Just Bezdin's not going to force him to pay because he's getting killed. But you owe me. You don't want to come back in a Gilgal, then pay me now. Let's just see the 4 steps. A son was mizana with his mother and he promised her a sheep in return. He's potter to give the sheep. They kill him, so he's potter to give the sheep. Kim leib the he's potter. That's the blue. Red is, what if he decides, I want to give the sheep anyways? So we'll view it as a gift. So if we view it as a gift, why can't you put it on the mizbeach? It's not a esnan zoyna. It's a esna matana. So the Gemara says on the bottom, it's because in fact he does owe it to her. We can't extract it through Bezdin, and memela it is a esnan zoyna. So in our Gemara also, in fact, you don't have to pay for the 4 kav that I caused damage to the animal or to the owner by not giving him food. Since the person is getting malchus for putting on the muzzle, he doesn't have to pay for the wheat. But if he wants to be yotzi dei shemaim, he does have to pay for the wheat. Says Rashi, nafkemina, that if the owner of the cow goes into the guy's house and takes the wheat out of there, you can't do anything about it. He's right. Bezdin is not going to help you. Let's just see inside again. Rav Omar esnan osur toiro, vafilu ba'alimoy, 7 words for all 4 steps. Now, Papa Omar, Rav says a beautiful answer. Mishas meshicha yichayv lemizeh. Clearly, the Ramini means when something happens simultaneously, I owe you the money and I get misa. At the same exact time, I only get misa. I only do one of the 2. Over here, it's 2 different steps. I took your animal. At the moment I took your animal, I promised him lunch. I promised him 4 kav. That's my chiyuv then. 10 minutes later, I was over Issa Daraisa of putting a muzzle on, so I get malchus for that. Mishas meshiri yichayv lemizeh. Or milki leilaki at shas chasima, and the malchus only happened later on. Omra Papa. On brand new sugya. They asked me 2 things. I said both of them are asur. One of them is based on halacha, like in the Shulchan Aruch in those days, and one of them I made up. I made a chumrah. They asked me, what can I do dough? Can I put milk in a dough? Let's say now for Shavuos. Need the dough with milk. I said it's 100% asur. That's mefurish la halacha. You're not permitted to use milk in the dough. Vimlash. And if you do need the dough, throw it all out in the garbage. Why? Mipnei hergel avera, because you might make milchik dough and eat it with fleishik. So, in Eretz Yisrael, the way to get around it is by making it another shape. So if you go into the bakery, every bakery in Eretz Yisrael, if it's triangle like that, that means it is milk. Milchik.
No, yes, mushroom is a part.
Okay. Now, what about sufganiyot? They make sufganiyot that are milchik. So if you notice, they used to have a thing that if it's milchik, they put a white chocolate on top, and that's what it says over here. The ziluf pasim chocolate b'tzevel lavan. But the Charedis had a lot of problems with that because a lot of the owners said we don't want to use white. We want a black donut. We want this donut. So if you notice, I don't know if anybody noticed, the top left corner, there's a little flag in the milk donuts. Why? Because on the right side, I found this on their website. on the, somebody had a thing. This is from the Eda, from the Eda's publication. It says that we're going to put, it's unbelievable, a white and blue flag on the milk donuts. So this is this, and then it says over here, this could cause big problems. People eat the milk donuts with fleishiks. Putting a flag, doesn't say lavan. Im kituv chalavi, akol sufganiyah chalavi. This from the Eidah, Rabbi Yisai, beautiful. Okay, so you need a simon. It's interesting. What? No. I don't know, but I hear. So one of the questions that I had was, how does it work to put a degel? The whole issur is to bake it. The fact that you put the simon afterwards is not going to help you. You have to bake the berekes in a triangle. You can't make the berekes triangle afterwards. That doesn't help. So for that, they say that it happens to be that donuts are not something that you put on the same plate with meat. So berekes and bread, you do. So therefore, the problem is like you're saying that the problem is later on. A problem you might come to eat, not that you're baking milchiks. The problem is you might come to eat milk and this. So that's why they put that thing on afterwards.
The donut is not a milky donut.
That's what he was saying. The milk is on top. The tesefet. Okay. Right. It wasn't baked like that. Zog the Gemara. Right. Putting cheese on bread, and then you have to put a flag on it. Kayotze boy. And similar, ein toshin is ataner ba'alya. What is alya? Rabbi said we have beautiful alya here, I think, somewhere. Oh, alya. Yishmak. You guys ready? Alya. But a lot of people don't really know what it looks like inside the tail. Okay, here's the alya. These are bigger alyas. This is what it looks like after. Yeah, it's very, very fatty. Now you take the fat and you smear it on the oven. So the oven now becomes meat, fleishik. And if you do that, the entire, everything you bake in that oven is also, because now the meat, the bread becomes fleishik, and you might eat it with cheese. Until you heat up the oven, you get rid of that fat. Okay, so that we said that. Another question. That's a pi halacha. Can I put, let's say, a donkey together with a cow into one barn? Yichud. Pashuли surah, and I said that it's asur. The lav kilchasa, but that's against the halacha. Damashmor. If somebody comes to testify that he saw two people be mizana, he doesn't have to say that he saw. He literally saw the act, as long as they're laying as a noyef and a noyefis lay, that's enough. Ubeklayim, but however, when it comes to the issur of breeding two animals that are not the same species, you have to do the avera with your hand. If we just say these three words instead of the fourth word, which is kalayim, can't hold on to the female horn. In other words, keep her in place, helping out a little bit, but not doing the actual issur. So it says, no, that's not the issur. The issur is doing biyad, it seems like that klayim, even holding on, is not a problem. The issur is, the issur is even holding on. Not kimcho b'shvei. Says Gemara, no, my achiza achnasa. When we say achiza, we're just trying to speak clean and not say baracha b'tcha ktana. But achiza means achnasa, basically doing the issur bayad. V'amai kar la'achiza lishna ma'alya. Omer Rav Yehuda, nice, talk nicely in a nice lashon. Omer Rav Yehuda, min b'minoi mutar lahachlis kimcho b'shvei. I would think that when it's the same species, you shouldn't help them. And you're not allowed to do anything with your own hands. So, let's look at Taisus, 2 lines from the bottom. Taisus, where it says, Daf Chav, it says, there's an Isser, a person is not allowed to look, view, when animals mate. Loy b'chazer v'loy b'chazira, loy b'oif, and this is very interesting lashon, v'loy b'oifefes. He calls a female bird oifefes. Even two birds, one should not look because it brings to hirurim, bad thoughts. So I would think that you as a farmer should not be dealing with these kind of things that will bring to bad thoughts. My time of avidity taret, since this is your job, you are preoccupied with your job, so you're not thinking bad thoughts. Similarly to, let's say, a physician has a heter to have women as clients, as patients. There's different shilas, like what about a bus driver? And the girls are singing, the bus driver is a moron, I don't know, whatever the songs that the kids sing in camp. Is that mutter to listen to? Or let's say a photographer at a male photographer on the women's side. These kind of shilas come up to the rabbanim, ask your local rabbi. Lifeguard? No rabbi will give you the heter. Thank you. Shkoyach. Yeah, there's certain things that, let's be real, okay? Don't say, Ani, but okay. That is their job, to be over on that isser. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. Each thing, you'll say, okay, that's silly, that's this. A massage therapist. I don't know what. Ask the shayla. Certain things, the answer would be no, in my opinion. So Rav Chazvi asks, Daf Tzadik Aleph Amud Beis, sponsored by Eric Edelman of Bigger Cup Consulting. I love that one. If it would just say the three words, like we said before, it seems like the two of the same species is mutter. It seems like only holding on, not helping out. No, when I say holding, I don't mean holding. I really meant doing the actual act. Okay, it's a nice solution. This is something that they asked the Reish Golos. Is there a yichud, so to speak, when you put two cows into a barn, but the third is a donkey? This is yichud. We have the child by human beings, two women and a man, two men and a woman. Since the cow has a male cow, so she won't deal b'chlal with the donkey, it's still a problem. Similar to what Rav Papa said, I told them that it's also, even though that's not the halacha. Why? Since the Reish Golos has a lot of slaves, right? Top guy, top person in Klal Yisrael, the wealthiest, so he has a lot of slaves. So if you put in two cows and a donkey in a barn, the slave won't understand. He said, oh, you're allowed to put a donkey and a cow, so we'll put just two of them together. The two ones that are usher, one cow and a donkey. So he said, you know what? No donkeys involved here with the cows. Huh? Oh, very, very important. Thank you for reminding me. So I just have to announce, Baruch Hashem, and I have to apologize. Since I announced it once, that the kosher tablet came out, the response was so overwhelming, emes. We couldn't believe. We got so many orders that, unfortunately, we ran out, and we're going to be at least 2-3 days behind schedule. So if somebody ordered it, give us some time. Because crazy, we never had anything like this. B'li ayin hara. A lot of kids are going to camp, a lot of people that don't have kosher, smartphones, and this is a kosher device. So, yishkoyach for understanding. Maybe Yosef, if you don't mind, maybe you could take this piece and put it in the beginning of this year, because I was really supposed to, Yossi begged me twice, and I forgot 2 days. Like, what are we going to do? Like, we have all these orders. Okay, just don't worry about it. People understand.
People watch the share and order them. They're going to see it in the middle of the share.
Hopefully, yeah. But sometimes it's for kids that are going to cabinet. Now, I don't know. Maybe they don't have a device yet, and they don't watch now, and they're waiting for that device. So then it won't help if I say it in the beginning of this year, you're saying. It won't. Oh, you're right. Okay, okay, fine, Givaldi. Oh, we're sponsored by this Mishnah. I did. It was so fast here. I did. Eric Edelman, Bigger Cup Consulting. I love this sponsor. It's so short. That's what I said. It was very short. Says the Mishnah, sponsored in recognition of all the MDY Chevra and myself. So think about it. The Isser, like Sachsim Shor B'Dishoy, we could see the pasuk again if anybody wants to see it. Sachsim Shor B'Dishoy is the animal walking on all four. 2 feet, 2 hands. The front hands, the back feet. It's all four. Says the Mishnah that when a human being does it and we compare a human to a bull, he doesn't have to get on all four. He could also go with his feet, trample the grapes. He could work with his hands, pick the fruit. He's also an employee. He could also eat. You don't need all four. Biraglov, he's stomping on, trampling on grapes or whatever he's doing, not using his hands. Afilu bik seifai, Rabbi Sai, what does this mean? Even if he's doing it with his shoulder. Give me an example. It took me some time to figure this out. How could you work with your shoulder without your feet? But you're using your feet. You should get food because you're using your feet. How's it possible? So let me show you the picture. Something like this. Somebody's stepping on your shoulder to get the higher place, to pick fruit. So you're not moving, using your shoulders. Mike, you like it, Mike? Huh? Okay. Anshi approved. Givaldi. So, you don't, I see. Don't worry about it. I get these emails afterwards. A guy wrote me, I love the joke with the 3-legged chicken. He said, don't worry about the Olam over there, Spashlufen, they don't have a sense of humor. I loved it made my day. Zog the Gemara, the Mishnah. Even though it's different than a sharp. Not true, you have to do both, your hands and your feet at the same time, just like a bull. My taima. You walk into the kerem any way possible, with your feet, with your hands, with your shoulder, it doesn't matter. So Rabbi say, let me tell you this. I haven't spoken about this in a very long time, and I think it's a big secret when it comes to Daf Yomi, a very big yesod. The point is, just show up. Just show up. Meaning, if you find yourself at 3 o'clock in the morning after your own wedding, you just got married yourself, and you can't do the daf, just show up. Open up the Gemara for 3 minutes. 3 minutes, just you look at it. That will continue the kfiyas, and Be'ezer Hashem, you won't fall off the bandwagon. 3 minutes. A lot of times you do 3 minutes, so then you do 5, 10, 20, etc. You might fool yourself. Reb Chaim Kanievsky once asked his roommate, I don't understand. I saw you walk into the room at 3 in the morning, and you opened up the Gemara, and you're falling asleep, then you woke up again. Do you remember what you learned last night? And his roommate, and Reb Chaim said, my roommate taught me a Gevaldik lesson. The roommate said, I don't remember a word. So why do you do it? I didn't do it for that daf. I did it for the 50 daf that are coming up. I'm doing it for the future, to keep up. So just show up. Rabbi says just show up. As Tomer told me, 80% of success is showing up. You got to show up. Yeah, it's the same thing happens with the working out. Not that I'm very familiar with that, but they say that if you don't want to work out, you're not in the mood, just show up. Get on the floor, do 1 sit-up, and walk away. But at least you did it that day. Because if you don't, then the next day it's going to be harder, and then eventually you fall. Do it. You hear what I'm saying, Noam? Do it. Just get down and do something. The rest of you, okay. Why does he say you need hands and feet? Kishar, mashar, just like a bull, he does both hands, feet. Boy, Rabbi Ravuna, dosh ba'avozim. Givaldik a picture here. Dosh ba'avozim, using ducks to do the threshing. You need all 4 hands and feet. You have to use everything you got. That's all he has is 2 feet. Or then would be other regular being on. Nope, maybe the Torah say you have to use hands all 4. We'll have to wait for Mashiach to come. Oh, Rabbi, here we go. Show and tell. Do me a favor, help me out putting these grapes over here while I do this. I have to, let's see if I can do this. Oh. They're going to eat grapes for the next 2 Zdarim. No, I'm going to bring it home. I don't know. What about, as long as you didn't say a waste of time. All of it. What are you doing here? Here, put it over here. Mandy, help out. Vada, we're gonna do it. Vada. I gotta show. These are good grapes. The oil is invited to eat the grape juice.
Allowed to eat the grapes. While you're doing it.
Okay, let's go. Oh yeah. Okay. This we don't need. This we'll put over here.
All right, here we go.
Okay. She's not funny yet. All right, so it goes like this. Rabbi Isai. The question was, when are you allowed to eat these grapes and drink the juice? Could I eat the grapes and drink the juice? Could I drink the juice and not eat the grapes? Could I do both? The answer is impossible to know. The answer is like this. Right now, I'm allowed to eat a grape. Once I start stepping on them, geschmack. Now, I could take a grape. I'll take a shmushy one. It's before Shachar, so I can't really eat it. That I stepped on. I'm allowed to eat it. I stepped on it. It's crushed. I'm allowed to eat it. I'm not going to eat it. But I'm not allowed to drink the juice. When I make a right turn, I just did Chessie. I just did north-south. When I make a right turn and I go this way, I just did Erev. I did east-west. Now I'm allowed to drink the juice and eat the grape. And that's why I had to do this. Otherwise, you wouldn't understand it in a different way. What? Hold on. Okay. Because that's how they do. That's how they do the. That's how you do it. It's gonna be good and it's gonna be mamish. Whoever doesn't want to eat it, I'll eat it. I'll bring it home and eat it. There's not a single one here that you can't eat. It's all clean. It's all Ziploc. The mamish delicious. Zog the Gemara. Oh, here. Omer Rav Nachman holding in the middle of the Amud. We have 3 minutes to do the half of Amud. Omer Rav Nachman, Omer Rav Refuah. If they don't go, I actually have a better one. Here, look at this. This is beautiful. Rabbi, say, check this out. No. This is how they do it. They step on the thing. I love the bees, the flies, givaldic stuff. After you watch this, you don't drink wine for the rest of your life.
When cows are turning around in dust, what happens?
Yeah. Look at those bees. I love it. Okay. Fine. You have to go back, front, right, left. Once they go both directions in the gat, in the wine press, they could eat the grapes, and also they're an employee, a worker who's doing both, and therefore they eat and they drink. Says the Heilige Mishnah, sponsored a recognition of the Chevra of MDY and myself. A guy's working in somebody's field, and the guy has the owner of the field has a vineyard on one side and a fig tree on the other side. So I would think I'm working in the guy's field. I'm working with the grapes. Perhaps I'm allowed to eat a fig. No, you're not allowed to. You're allowed to eat from what you're working. Whatever you're working on, that's what you eat, not the other stuff. You could hold yourself back, control yourself. For instance, you go to all-you-can-eat restaurant, that famous one. A lot of you went in Yerushalayim. Papagayo. You go there, and first course, they give you a bunch of salads and bread. Hummus. No, thank you. Keep on going. Never wash. Coming from a professional. A yeshiva bocher that sat there for 8 hours straight. You don't fall for that. You don't eat the silly things. You wait until the lamb chops come out or whatever they serve over there. So you're allowed to do that. It's mutter. I see weak grapes. I'm not eating those. I'm waiting. I know where the good stuff is, the red, juicy, at the end. So you wait. That's fine. You're only, you hear, this is very, very important. You're only permitted to eat as you are working. So let me ask you a question. I'm working for you. I'm picking grapes. And now the next vineyard is 20 feet away. So I walk from here to there. While I'm walking, am I working for you or not working for you? Yes or no, what do you say? You all say, yes. You probably yes. Today you're working. Not so simple. Mahalach lav kemaisa. I'm not working for you. It's to work for you, to get to work, but I'm not working for you. I don't have a heter, the iraisa, maybe. There's going to be a sugya. That's today's sugya. What?
He's walking. He's doing different melacha.
No, the Gemara is going to go into it. The Gemara is going to talk about it. You'll see. The Torah says only eat while you're picking. But imagine, you're picking grapes. Look, you have to see this. You're picking grapes and you're eating. Or you're picking and eating. It doesn't work well. It takes away from the guy's, what's the word I'm looking for? Productivity. Thank you. Productivity is the better word. I can't pick grapes and put in my mouth the grape. It doesn't work well. As the owner would much more prefer more, or whatever the lashon is, that I should eat while I'm walking, even though the Torah doesn't allow me to. To do good to the owner. You hear it, Bavi? Uman. I know. And also when I bring a box over there as an employee, as walking all the way back, I'm allowed to eat grapes, even though the Torah doesn't say so. The Torah says you should eat while you're working. It's better for the Baal Bais. Hold on, let's I don't know. You're saying that's Litzoyrech, I hear. This is a brand new halacha, nothing to do with what we just said. Kishipa rekes. When you unload a donkey, then she's allowed to eat. We'll see in the Gemara. I'm not working with two different fruits, the same exact fruit. There's a fruit. Maybe I could show this picture. Here, right over here. You see where Noam fixes? He's right over there. Could he eat right over there? Yeah? He's on the right. He wants to eat from the left. But he's not working on the left. He's only working on the right. Says the Gemara, same vineyard, same everything. Is it because that it has to be something that from the same species, the same type of fruit that you're putting into the kli to give the owner, and that's what you're doing? It's the same grape. Grape is grape. It has to be from that exact grape that you're putting into the vessel. And if you'll say that if you work on this grape right over here with the red, you cannot eat from the blue. So I did this myself. Unfortunately, I didn't have Yoshi. You see where the red arrow is? That's where the people. What's a shar doing in a vineyard when there's grapes? He's the tractor. They use that today. Small tractor. I could even show you a video of it. So the tractor, the back of the tractor is where they're picking the grapes, putting in the back. Where's the animal eating? From the front. It's 10 feet away. If I'm only permitted to eat the grapes that I'm working on the grapes with the red arrow, how am I eating the grapes with the green arrow? Okay, this Yoshi would do it 1,000 times better in a vineyard, but this is what I had. So, Omar Rav Shisha, Bereder Ravidi, Bishracha. His shracha, basically, look where the root of this, it's too long. Bottom line is, there's a very, very, here is the root, and look how far away the vine actually goes. So Mela, it's a 20-foot long vine. So I could be at any spot of that vine, and I'm still yaitza, I'm still working on that grape. Okay, my mouth could be 20 feet away, and the wagon could be over there. Toshma, Very gewaldige thing. It says in the Mishnah that if I'm working with figs, I cannot eat the grapes. But it seems like if it's the same tree, you're allowed to. It's only because it's two different types, figs and grapes. What if it's grapes and grapes? Or figs and figs? And if you're telling me that it's usher to eat from one grape, when on the right, when I'm working on the left, or the left, when you just told me that it's only a fig and a grape, that if I'm working with the grapes, I can't eat the fig. But what if I'm working the grape? I could eat another grape in another place. But you just told me you can't. So which one is it? Omarav Shisha Breder Avidi Bumudlas. Here's mudlas. Basically, you have a vine growing up a fig tree. So you're working with both of them at the same time. In order for me to get to the fig, I have to pick up the grape and pick the fig. So I'm touching the grape to get to the fig. On that it says, that's a very interesting question. I'll get to that in a second. On that it says that it's mutter, it's also for me to eat the grapes while I'm working with the figs, even though they're together. This case of grape on top of a grape, one vine grows on top of the other vine, would be mutter because you have el keliyecha, it's the same min, and I'm doing the same action. The question was, what if one vine is over here and one vine is over here? That we didn't answer yet. What about what he just asked? It's climb. What's the answer, Rabbi Yisai? So just if just for that it was kedai to go all the way to 806 today, there is no climb on two trees. Climb is a vine with a seed of wheat, of other vegetables. Two trees. Harkava is also. You're not allowed to take one tree and put it into another tree. But the graft, but that they both grow like that on top of each other, it's fine. Oh boy. Should we just stop here?
Very long.
Okay, what are we going to do? We have to stop here. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.